So, hello, dear friends. I think it's time to start our webinar. We are very glad to welcome you here. And today we would like to share with you our knowledge collected during our 5 years experience in the resin flow coating and perform graphene nanotubes as an optimal solution to attain anti-static properties in this application. I would like to present to you Andrew Dubrovsky, who is a technical sales manager in OCSiAl Europe. Hello, Andrew. Are you with us?
Yes, hello, Maria. Very glad to see there are a lot of participants, and we are highly appreciated your time. Thank you very much for joining us. From my side, I would like to introduce Maria Markovets, who is a senior market analyst in OCSiAl Group.
Thank you, Andrew. We also have today with us our special guest, a product developer, Vladimir Kravchenko, who will lead the questions and answers session. Hello, Vladimir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, Maria. Hello, Andrew, and also good afternoon to everyone who is joining to us and have interest to hear more about our solutions for flooring. Also, I will be happy to assist you in a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And during the webinar, feel free to use Q&A tool or the Zoom. It's on the bottom of the panel to ask your questions. I will answer them during the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vladimir. So today we will have 30 minutes of presentation, and after this we will be ready to answer your questions. And in case you will have questions during the presentation, please don't hesitate to ask. Write them in our chat, and Vladimir will try to answer them as soon as possible. So after the presentation, all the participants will receive the recording of today's webinar, as well as the PDF presentation. So let's start. A few words about graphene nanotubes and OCSiAl company. Graphene nanotube is a one-atom thin, rolled-up graphene sheet. It's a unique material that shows an exceptional properties, and due to these properties, it became a universal additive to a wide spectrum of materials. And graphene nanotubes is already the market product, and anti-static flooring is one of their applications where graphene nanotubes is already used on the market. OCSiAl company has created a unique graphene nanotubes technology and became a leader of the market with its product tubal graphene nanotubes. The technology permits to manufacture commercially viable product of high purity in industrial scale. The current production capacity is 80 tons, and we are still aiming to increase it to scale it up in the coming years. Being the leader of the market, OCSiAl also develops their technologies in order to introduce graphene nanotubes in different materials and test the new materials in the prototyping centers. We have 3 R&D centers all over the world: in Russia, Novosibirsk, in China, in Shanghai, and in Europe, in Luxembourg. Besides, OCSiAl was also the first to make the registration of graphene nanotubes. We also pay a lot of attention to learn the nature of graphene nanotubes and to know the nature and know the safety handling of this product. And if you are interested in these particular questions, which is very important, please check in our website, tubal.com, or write your question directly to us. It is also important that OCSiAl is based on the idea of sustainable solutions that permit people to use the innovative technologies without damaging the planet. Let me explain it. Graphene nanotubes reinforces the properties of most known materials, and as a result, the amount of material needed to reach the desired characteristics less material is needed. On the other side, the obtained products demonstrate longer life cycle and higher energy efficiency. And as a result, this decreases the amount of materials needed and lowers the CO2 emission from its manufacturing. So coming back to the topic of our webinar, we all understand the importance of ESD flows, especially in the industries where electronic components and volatile chemicals are involved. So let's consider these market segments and its growth in the framework of the total industrial resin flow coating market. So the market itself is rather fast growing. Why it is so? First of all, because of the rapid growth of industrial construction segment, especially in the emerging economies in Asia and in Middle East. Also, the manufacturing industries where this type of flow is used, such as automotive manufacturing, electronics, they are also growing fast. The warehousing segment is growing. It's important to note that a lot of customers choose this type of flow due to its beneficial properties. For example, smooth flow texture is very demanded because the increasing number of high technology equipment with enhanced mobility now on the market. So in general, the market is a very promising one. However, the competition on the market is increasing, and the companies are trying to do their best to offer the best product with innovative properties. And so this type of competition actually takes place on the market. Here you can see the snapshot, the regional snapshot of the market. Asian region represents the highest growth. There are two main reasons for this. Firstly, the shift of global manufacturing companies to the region. And secondly, the fact that the governments support a lot the development of production industries. And all these new manufacturing areas are projected with the use of safe materials, including ESD protection. The market in North America is the largest for the moment, and it can be explained by the highest level of automation at manufacturing sites. And of course, the increase in production capacities are taking place in North America. The market demand in Europe is growing steadily, of course, due to setting up of new manufacturing facilities, but at the same time due to the tightening of regulations from the government side in terms of safety. Talking about the ESD segment, the external market analysts forecasted to grow just a little bit faster than the total market in terms of volume, 7.3% versus 7.1%. However, we clearly see the drivers that will fuel the market growth to grow even faster. For instance, there is a pool of customers forced by regulatory factors, and these are actually the current customers on the market for today. And due to the fact that ESD regulations are tightening, the amount of these customers expands. On the other hand, there is a rise of high-performance equipment, and more customers give the preference to ESD flows, trying to protect their equipment. We also clearly see the emergence of new application that takes place on the market. There is a general trend on the market to make the manufacturing process safer and the facility maintenance easier. And with ESD flows, it is possible because it demonstrates higher durability and anti-dust property. So it is very useful in terms when you have a large surface area. One more factor I would like to mention is the rapid growth of one of the ESD flow applications, which is expected in the coming years. Here I'm talking about the battery manufacturers with gigafactories installing globally. So with these four drivers, the market is expected to grow even faster. We're expected to be around 9.3% per year. So this correction may not be very significant. However, the fact that, let's say, the pie is getting even bigger might be important for those who is hesitating to enter this market. The most common solution to make the floor coating conductive is to use the anti-static or conductive agent. And traditional conductive agents are either not enough effective or they have a high price. So these issues will influence the market, and of course with these issues the market will not grow in accordance with the performance scenario. The solution that OCSiAl offers to the market, tubal graphene nanotubes, shows a perfect performance and a competitive price, and we expect that with this additive, the material with tubal will take a large market share and it will increase. But at the same time, this will fuel the market growth in accordance with the mentioned scenario or even faster. And here I would like to stop the market part and ask Andrew to describe our product in details. Please, Andrew.
Maria, thank you very much. Let me also share the screen from my side. Maria, could you please stop sharing your screen? Great. So everything is correct. Do you see the first slide properly?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, great. Then once again, Maria, thanks a lot for your presentation. You gave us very interesting overview of the development prospects of electrically conductive flooring market. And in your forecast, you highlighted potential final states in which we may, and I do believe we will come in the next years, in the upcoming future. But today is 12th of May. Today, many companies, our partners, are facing with some difficulties even with raw materials. For example, some of my customers today need to substitute one epoxy resin with another, one functional additive with another. So if I were a producer of floor coating systems, I would have raised a simple question. How can I protect my formulations? How can I make my position on the market more stable in the upcoming future, in the next years? And of course, the answer is pretty simple. We recommend to start to use our single-wall carbon nanotubes to ball graphene nanotubes for your self-leveling and anti-static or electrically conductive flooring systems. And let me give all of you 3 reasons how graphene nanotubes can make your formulation more sustainable, more universal, and providing the best quality price ratio. So let's start with the first reason. It is pretty simple. Today, our two-ball nanotubes meet complex requirements in flooring business. And let's compare our two-ball nanotubes with the most popular solutions available on the market today. One of them is, of course, chopped carbon fibers. And this is a very well-known agent, but it still has some drawbacks. The first one is the limitation of the base coat thickness. Generally, due to some technological features, you need to orient chopped carbon fibers in the top coating, and that provides you limitation to the final thickness of the top coating. It should be at the level of 2 or 3 millimeters. And also the usage of chopped carbon fiber can be quite sensitive, and in many cases it can lead to so-called hotspots, which are some parts of the flooring systems with some insufficient level of electrical conductivity and also black dots on the surface, which is not good from aesthetical point of view. And also, if you damage some anti-static or electrically conductive flooring system with chopped carbon fiber, you have a high risk to lose the required electrically conductive properties, and it will be rather complicated to repair the damaged area because you will be required to cut the top coat and apply it again from the scratch because you had to orient chopped carbon fibers. With our material, with single wall carbon nanotubes, you can avoid or at least dramatically decrease such kind of risks and potential problems. There is no hotspots with single wall carbon nanotubes. We provide very homogeneous electrical conductivity in all dimensions. I mean, surface to surface resistance or surface to ground. And also very important, our single wall carbon nanotubes give ability to produce top coatings with different thicknesses. So still it will be possible for you to reach very good electrical conductivity with thicknesses even at the level of 1.5 millimeters, for example. And of course, we fully understand that the top coating is the most expensive component in the flooring system, and the reduction of thickness gives you some potential additional cost savings, which of course today is very important. But let's move on. Another commonly used conductive additive is conductive mica, some electrically conductive pigments. And this is a stable solution, also commonly used today in the market. It can provide you with a good level of electrical conductivity. But the dosage, the working dosage of the active material is relatively high, and the cost performance is not very effective. So from physical point of view, this solution is working, but from economical point of view, it could be rather expensive for some applications. With tubal nanotubes, working dosage is very slow. It is very low. The working dosage of our material is at the level of 0.01, 0.04 weight percent. And the cost performance of our carbon nanotubes is balanced, I would say, is acceptable for the market nowadays. And let's go further. The second reason is pretty simple. Today, it's very easy to work with our single wall carbon nanotubes because in general, you don't need to work directly with single wall carbon nanotubes. We already developed a huge range of electrically conductive additives. Usually, these additives are containing 90% of some carrier, which is compliant with epoxy resin, for example, or with PU resin. And the rest amount in the additive belong to carbon nanotubes. So 10% of single wall carbon nanotubes are homogeneously predispersed in 90% of the carrier. And it's very easily for you to work today with such type of additives. It's easily for you to dose them, to mix them in some ordinary equipment commonly used, for example, dissolvers. And our additives can provide the huge range of electrical conductive properties in your final top coating. So we have a lot of customers which are working with dissipative range of electrically conductive flooring, which covers 10 to 6, 10 to 9 ohm surface to surface resistance. Also, we have companies, we have customers which are working in conductive range, which cover 10 to 4, 10 to 6 ohm surface to surface or surface to ground resistance. So it just depends on the final dosage of tubal matrix which you will bring into your coating. And also the working dosages are at the level of 0.1, 0.4% of electrically conductive additive. So it will be 0.01 or 0.04 weight% of active electrically conductive material in your system. And these tiny dosages, of course, give you also ability to produce a colored solutions, which is also very demanded today in European market. It's possible to produce flooring systems with different colors. According to our experience, the most commonly used industrial color is, of course, RAL 7035, and it's very easily to achieve it with our graphene nanotubes. Also, we fully understand that today the real flooring business is very complex and tough, and there are many different formulations and flooring types available on the market. And that's why we designed a lot of different products which fully covers the existing range of electrically conductive or dissipative flooring systems. So we have additives which are working pretty well in epoxy and PU systems, solvent-borne and solvent-free. And of course, in a direct communication with you, we will be extremely happy to provide some specific recommendations from our side, which grade of our product is working better in your specific formulation. And that's why we will be extremely glad to receive your questions here during the webinar, to discuss them right now, or you can also address your questions to our corporate email, which was already highlighted. And of course, we won't leave you without our full technical support. Today we have a great experience in dissipative and electrically conductive flooring. We are able to provide you with some specific technical recommendations, with some specific technical tips from our side related to optimization process of the formulation. For example, we have noticed that some type of fillers are working a bit better with single wall carbon nanotubes. For example, quartz powder is preferred than barium sulfate. Barium sulfate is also acceptable, of course, but in general, quartz powder is working a bit better in terms of electrical conductivity. Also, we have seen that, for example, there is a range of the size of the particles at the level of 30-40 microns, which is working also better than the other sizes of the particles. And this range of 30-40 microns usually perform better electrical conductivity, and it is also performing very nice self-leveling properties. So we will be able to provide you with such kind of tips, and also I think it deserves to mention that we are able to provide you with some recommendations related to functional additives, because it's a very important part of the formulation, of course. And there are a lot of different grades available today in the market of some derating agents, leveling agents, dispersing agents, and so on. And we have tested a huge range of such type of additives, and we will be able to provide you with some very, very specific concrete advices from our side. For example, one type of BYK agent is working a bit better than the other one, and in general, it won't take some significant level of efforts from your side to make some small fine-tuning process or some optimization. We will be able to provide you with a very, very detailed and specific recommendations in the beginning of the development process. But of course, an additional tool is our YouTube channel. You are highly welcome to visit our Tubal Products and Solutions channel. There are a lot of useful and short videos for you. For example, you can see how to mix tubal matrix with different binders with different systems, how to optimize electrical conductivity, or how to optimize electrically conductive properties or self-leveling properties. So you are highly welcome to visit it. And again, we will be extremely happy to receive your feedback, to receive your questions. In direct communication, of course, we will be able to provide you with more useful information from our side. But let's move on. The third reason is, again, pretty simple. We have a lot of existing customers. We have validated our products at different production facilities. It was industrially approved. It works pretty well at different type of dissolvers. And in this case, I would like probably to provide you with some, I hope, interesting for you information related to one specific case with which we have faced in our history before. We have a customer. We have a very close and positive relationship nowadays. And several years ago, when we just started our partnership, they switched from chopped carbon fiber to our tubal matrix, to our single wall carbon nanotubes. And they produced some industrial amount of top coating. It was for not very big objects, probably something like 1,000 or 2,000 square meters. And they finally sold the system to their customer, to servicing company, which further applied this top coating at one of the objects. And then an external laboratory, the third site company, arrived to this object to measure surface to ground resistance. And they did the measurement, and they observed the surface to ground resistance was extremely bad. Extremely bad. The system was completely insulative. And of course, our customer approached us and asked what was the reason. They asked for our assistance. And we visited with our customer this object, and we tested all together surface to surface resistance and surface to ground resistance. And it was very interesting for us. It was the first such kind of industrial feedback. And we have seen that surface to surface resistance is extremely well. It was something like 10 to 6 or 10 to 7 ohm, 2 points method of measurement. So everybody was happy. But when we tested surface to ground resistance between the surface and the Cooper tape, the grounding, the system was completely insulative. And finally, we came to a conclusion, and we observed that the servicing company did not check properly the electrical conductivity of the primer. And of course, primer was in between top coating and the Cooper tape, and that's why there were no surface to ground resistance. But our customer was extremely happy that they were able to provide surface to surface conductivity. And we fully understand that if they were using chopped carbon fiber, in this specific case, they would have never achieved surface to surface conductivity, because all systems fulfilled with chopped carbon fibers are working only if there is a highly conductive primer. And in our case, our single wall carbon nanotubes provide ability to perform very good surface to surface conductivity and surface to ground conductivity even without primers. So some of our customers sometimes even reduce the primer out of the flooring systems, and that also leads to some additional cost savings for them. So in this case, our product can give you ability to reduce some potential risks of usage of some electrically conductive fillers. And I think it is important to highlight that in Europe, of course, many companies, and I do believe your customers, are paying today a lot of attention to not only surface-to-surface conductivity or surface-to-ground conductivity, but also they pay attention for such specific property as a body voltage generation. And the method which is used for the measurement of such property is called walking voltage test according to DIN standard. And we have received many times from our customers that with the other electrically conductive fillers and with, for example, chopped carbon fiber, it's extremely hard to satisfy such requirements. And with chopped carbon fiber, the minimum voltage generation which they observed was at the level of 100 volts. And with our material, it is easily to achieve the minimum voltage generation at the level of 10 or maximum 20 volts. So for our customers, it was a very big advantage against the other electrically conductive coatings, because it gives them ability to perform much safer in comparison with the other solutions. But of course, in general, our products, our single wall carbon nanotubes gives ability to satisfy needs in terms of surface or surface to ground resistance according to a variety of different standards. We have partners in Europe, in Russia, in Asia, in United States of America. So full range of standards could be covered. There is no problem. Coming to the end of our discussion of my presentation of my part, I will be glad to highlight that the installed anti-static, dissipative, or electrically conductive flooring systems with tube-wall matrix with our single-wall carbon nanotubes successfully pass all tests and meet all requirements. And our additives gives you ability to produce industrial self-leveling flooring systems with homogeneous and stable electrical conductivity, which doesn't depend on humidity, on some, let's say, environment conditions. Our additives gives you ability to produce top coatings with a reduced thickness, lower than 2 millimeters, which can give you some additional cost savings. Our additives also give you ability to produce coatings which will be very easily to repair. It will be just required to apply with roller, for example, the same top coating. You don't need to cut, or your customers don't need to cut the top coating. Single wall carbon nanotubes, of course, provide the ability to also reduce some kind of additional risks, which we discussed before, and gives you ability to satisfy, to cover full range of electrically conductive requirements, to produce colored coatings, to meet some specific standards like body voltage generation test, and etc., etc. And in the end, I will be just glad to highlight that our products allow to both market players, to you, to producers of flooring systems, and to your clients, to make a mutually beneficial business and to be sure and confident in tomorrow's day. Okay, so at the moment, that is all from our side. Once again, please ask us your questions here in chat. or address your questions to our corporate email webinar@ocsal.com.